Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to MIBT. Make it be there. Yeah, that's what MIBT stands for. You know, I get asked that question all the time. What does MIBT stand for? Well, it stands for Make It Be There. Because why? Because, well, we're here right now, so that's kind of cool. But the thing that we do here at MIBT is we make it be there. We try to be the best of the best of officials that you across the country, football. We do all these other sports too, but right now we're talking football. We're here for our playoff preview tonight, or playoff prep, actually. And you know what? We got a question about people saying, well, what if I'm not in the playoffs? Should I go? Absolutely. Because there are some big games coming up this way. I know I'm going to be officiating this week in a conference championship. Whether I work a playoff or not, that's a playoff to them. And so we can always get better, whether we're a first year or a 30-year official, playoffs or not. There's going to be a lot of good things that we're going to be talking about tonight. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here and making a commitment to the game. You here at MIBT, our mission is to improve the game through the official. You are the official. And the fact that you're here right now shows me you care and you want to be better and you want to make the game better. So I commend that commitment for being the best of the best. That's what we do here. We try to be as they say, the best of the best. So for those of you who are new here, there's a couple things. We actually have an interactive component to our meetings where we show a play and then we ask questions. And it's a Slido. For those of you who've never heard that, Slido is like an interactive polling, and it's 100% anonymous. And the Slido code that you need is up on the top of the banner, but I'm going to just show you the first question. So if you'd like, you can get that Slido code already into your phone or on another browser. You can put in the Slido and say, 328 or 3280930 Slido.com if you can't get the QR code or it joins up too fast for you. And it's always there. It's always at the top of the screen. So just know that. And if you miss it, it's at the top of the screen. So just remember and we're good to go. All right. So tonight, what we're going to talk about here, we got a lot of things. First, let's just go through some announcements. So Honings has been nice enough to give us a discount code today. So for you officials who are wanting to get a new white hat for the playoffs, or maybe you're a basketball person, or you just want to get a head start on next year, head to Honings and through tomorrow, use code NASOFB25 to get 15% off. As well as you basketball officials, we are hosting an NASO clinic, a basketball clinic in 2 weeks from today on November 2nd. So you want to mark your calendars for that if you are a basketball official. There's one other note that I want to talk about before we bring in our panel and get to our plays. We got a lot of plays, so for you normal folks, we usually go an hour. We're going a little longer tonight, maybe an hour and a half or so, because we got a lot of plays to get to. But New Mexico officials, well, first I welcome everybody from the country around, so thank you for being here. But New Mexico officials, if you could please use this text number. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. We have a text number up here at the top. It's over there, text number. You can text us your questions, your comments. You also have the chats that are going. You can chat your comments, and we've got some people watching that. We can definitely engage. But New Mexico officials, if you want credit for tonight's meeting, do me a favor. Text me your name. Just text me your name to 844-437-4345. And we're going to ask you maybe at the end to do that as well, or maybe in the middle, trust but verify. So that way you do get credit for attending this meeting tonight, as I know that they made this as a potential meeting for you to get credit. So that's something for you guys in New Mexico. So like I said, just do that and text us your name, and we'll be right on that. Now, the other thing I want to point out is we have merch. So if you want to wear your MIBT stuff proud, go to MIBT.org and go to the shop, and you can get some awesome, cool merch that we have. You want to take advantage of that. And also, if you're not an MIBT member, think about subscribing. $79 a year. If you use code MIBT10 at checkout, you'll get $10 off, and you'll all be the best of the best from around the country. So let's bring in our panel. And so we're happy. We're always glad to have our panel with us. They help us break it down. The first person I'd like to bring in is Mike Billica. Mike is from the Connecticut, Massachusetts area, works on the East Coast. For those of you who don't know, Mike, thank you so much for being here tonight. Really appreciate it.
Hey, great to be here. Best time of the year, playoff time, baby.
Yeah, I know you guys are still a little bit of ways, but it'll be here before you know it. So thank you for being here. I want to bring in also our vice president of MIBT. He joins us all the time. He's the one who's watching the chat and the text and all that stuff. Robert Ybarra is with us. Robert, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for hosting and bringing our community of football officials from across the country together. What an opportunity for us to learn and grow and elevate our game at a critical time in the season where every snap matters. Thank you, Tim. Welcome, MIBT Nation. It's going to be an exciting night.
No, I believe it is. And last but not least, I'm going to show this. So this is the person we have with us who we consider our expert of experts. But for those of you who don't know, Bill Lamagna has been an official for a long time. Now he is the head rules analyst for ESPN college football, and he won an Emmy. So there's his Emmy, and we congratulate Bill on his Emmy. But we have him live with us. Bill, thank you so much. Emmy award-winning Bill Lamagna is with us. So thank you for being here.
Big time.
Yeah.
So, hey, I do want to comment, though, about, you talk about the playoffs are here. We've waited. I mean, it seems like forever to get the season started, and it goes by in the blink of an eye. So it's that time of the year where, hey, take a deep breath and enjoy the moment. Be concentrated, be focused, but make sure it's a way to say thanks to yourself for being involved in this game. But take a moment and just take it in while you're out in the field.
No, I think that's great advice because it comes and it goes, and it's just nuts. All right, so we're going to start off with some plays. Our second play of the night will be a poll play because we want everybody to get that, give them a few minutes to get that lined up. But we have two plays we want to start out with. Now, this first play I'm going to show you, it is a fun play. And this is a Where's Waldo type play. I'm going to ask you on this play, and New Mexico officials, sorry, you don't count. This came from New Mexico, and you'll know if you're a New Mexico official, so you don't get the freebie here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the play twice. And what I want you to do is if you see, it's two plays, if you see the issue or the something that makes you go, I need you to text it. Text it, what your name and what you see to 844-437-4345. The first person who catches it, then we're going to send you a T-shirt, okay? We're going to send you a shirt. But I want you to take a look at these two plays. We'll talk about it at the end, what the issue was here. So, all right, we got play number 1 is a touchdown, okay? Here we go. And then we've got play number 2 is a try. And you can see they're going for 2 on the try. All right. So something's weird here. I will tell you, I want to try to get the people who really are paying attention. So here's the first play, the touchdown play. And now the second play. Remember, if you're from New Mexico, you don't get credit. I can't get you the free T-shirt because if you're from New Mexico. But I just want to know, okay, what do you see? Tell me the oddity of this play. There's something odd in that play that might make you go, All right, so first person to text it, we're going to send a T-shirt. Now, let's get to the real stuff for tonight. Our first play in our playoff prep meeting. Now, this one I want to set up. It's not a poll play, but emotions run high in the season, whether it's for us as officials or players or coaches. Remember, as officials, we are the calm. But after getting, hammered all year, you've working games, you've been yelled at, you've been talked down to, the things that make it, barriers for us to be officials. Sometimes that starts to, weigh on us. But we have to remember, we have to keep that even keel. We are the calm of the storm. We can't let our emotions get the best of us. And I'm showing this play to not necessarily be critical. Remember, we're not critical of officials here. We may use some of the plays to help us become better, but we're not being critical to that person specifically. We want to be better. And this is something I think we can all learn from, and I'm going to have Robert talk about it after we show it. So it's going to happen at the top of the screen here, and you can see it's a 44-0 game, and the team in green is up 44-0, and the team in white, it's late in the fourth quarter, has been down all game. You may have seen it at the top of the screen, but now we're going to show a replay of it, and you're going to see what the official does. I'm sure there's some stuff going on there. And now, remember, perception is reality. We are only looking at a snap of a game, an instant in a game that can, unfortunately, set us up for failure. Make something look worse than it is. Make something out of maybe that's not really there, or maybe it is. Because this is a snapshot. You're not given the whole thing. But that's why I'm saying we need to be the calm of the storm and be aware that we're always being watched and judged. Now, Robert, you know a little bit about this. Talk about how we can, as officials, not let this happen. Maybe, and I'm not saying that official had got the best of his emotions, but even just the perception of putting hands and kind of extending, just kind of go into that.
Well, thank you, Tim, for showing this play. Because I actually leveraged it and learned from it and applied from this play this past Friday as a reminder of when we have moments during our contest when players may be in contact with each other and it gets emotional or heated, and us officials want to separate, the importance of behaving in an impartial, neutral manner so we don't come across as appearing to be optically one-sided. Certainly, this official did not want to be visibly accused of pulling off a player off another physically in a manner in which is unprofessional. But an athletic director and other stakeholders, that being parents and coaches, unfortunately have contacted me with wanting to have, sadly, something to be addressed in this situation. What I would like for us to learn from this is, yes, we're going to have heated moments throughout contests, and we are in a role in which we are to mitigate emotion in a manner in which we can separate players without necessarily penalizing. We understand that there are fireworks that may have generated throughout the contest, but we still have to maintain the mindset that these are student athletes that we are there to adjudicate, and our role as officials is to behave in a very professional manner. And with that being said, reminding ourselves of that role is very useful and beneficial. So thank you, Tim, for showing it for that one primary purpose. And that is, we are to be professional, impartial, and behave in a manner in which may require us in some situations to separate players. But when we are required to do that, let's do it in a manner in which appears more neutral rather than one-sided.
All right, so our first play, we are on the Slido. What is your ruling on this one? I want you to tell me on this illegal contact on the kicking team, illegal contact on the receiving team. Maybe you have a legal play, or maybe you have something else. And we always put something else there because I always just, there might be something that we've missed. So do something else, but make sure you text us and let us know. Remember, this is 100% anonymous, so you don't have to worry about it. We just are curious. So here's the play. All right, you're going to see it. You're going to get, it's an onside kick. Oh, no. All right, onside kick. Here it is. You're going to see a replay of it. There's the contact, okay? Now you're going to get the replay of it again from the side shot. Here it is again. So we're asking illegal contact kicking team, illegal contact receiving team. Maybe this is just a legal play, or you have something else. Maybe we're missing something. One more time. Here it is. Because remember, we have rules on the kickoff, and there's a reason why I'm showing this play is because you could have an onside kick, especially if the games really matter. And how we cover onside kicks and the rules that go with onside kicks are really important. So I want to know what you think on this one. So first thing I will do is we're going to, hang on one second. Let's get everybody back up and running. All right, so I got Mike. Mike, I'm just curious, What's your thought just from what you saw? Just kind of give us a rundown what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I see a legitimate attempt to play the football. So definitely the receiving team initiates the contact as well, but again, in an attempt to get to the football. So I think that's one of the allowable forms of contact when you're trying to make an attempt, a legitimate attempt to play the ball.
Okay, so that's really important to look at. Now, one of the things before we look at the poll and see where we're at, I want to talk about is how we cover a play like this. Now, at the top of the screen, you can see that you have an official who's on the kicking restraining line. That's usually your back judge, or, it could be whatever, depending on your mechanics in your state. And then you have an official at the bottom covering the receiving restraining line. Now, I have noticed that some states have been adjusting this, and the reason they are is because of plays like this. This is the first play of the third quarter, of the second half. This isn't expected. So what sucks is I want to talk about, you see that official there. What is that official at the bottom watching? What are we watching at this point? And that is the key thing. Whether I kind of threw some stuff up there just to see, but the key thing is who's watching the contact, who's watching the touching, and how are we going to take all of this humanity of players and have two officials most likely be judging it. So let's just see where we're at on our poll. We got about 70 people who have said everybody's got legal play for the most part. Okay, somebody's got something else. Let us know if you got something else. But that's a pretty good number, about 74%. And I do believe this play to be legal. But I want to bring Robert in, going back to the play, at this point right here. This is where everything is happening. Now, luckily, there are only two people really involved. So it would be easier for the officials on the receiving restraining line to kind of maybe, walk through it and figure it out. But just Robert, on a play like this, as the back judge, a lot of times when you're on the kicking restraining line and you see a play like this and everything's clean, you don't have encroachment, everybody has crossed the line legally, where do you go as a back judge on a play like this when you see it?
Well, a great question. I mean, that is the skill of the back judge. The back judge has to determine when you have responsibility of the ball off the tee. Is the ball off the tee to ground? Is the ball off the tee up? Primary. Also, restraining line restriction, because depending on how you anticipate whether or not this is going to be a deep kick or something other than a deep kick, is actually information you can gather before you even hand the ball to the kicker. And that's a practice that I ask the kicker, the 16, 17-year-old, what are you going to do? Are you kicking this deep or something else? Because that's going to give me an indicator of what to anticipate. Once he says something else, they got to be perfect. And what I mean by that, the way I position my foot on the free kick line is going to determine how tight I rule on that pane of glass. With that all being said, Tim, your question ultimately is, what do I look for once it's cleared?
Correct.
Ball's kicked. It's not a pop-up kick. It's grounded, sure, but it's not popped up. All kicking team players did not break the free kick line. Awesome. Now where do my eyes go? Where the action goes, right? Notoriously, I want to help in ruling on first touching. So my eyes are going to go, who has the right to touch the ball legally in the neutral zone? The receiving team has the right to legally touch the ball in the neutral zone, not the kicking team, So my bag is ready for that interference. We've got an illegal touching if I deem first touching by the kicking team. So that is the answer to your question in short. And then, of course, you have the contact. Now, that contact is tight. There's no doubt about it. We got to have our crewmate rule on whether or not the kicking team player impeded his path to the ball, because that is a judgment in which our crew needs to make.
No, you're right. And I'll walk through it. This is, Robert's got some really good points. So we say we're legal. Okay, now we have to take two officials to watch basically about 15 people. So in the end, the official who's on the 50-yard line, they have touching. They're first on touching. They've got it. if they can also get blocking, they're elite. Back judge needs to look at blocks because nobody else is looking at blocks. So as a back judge of Robert says, you can help with touching, but your first priority on this is to look at blocks because you can see blocks. You can't see the ball. Now, you can't see where the blocks occur, but you can have buy-in if, like on a block, if you thought that was a block, it's with these type of fields, you can have an opinion on whether or not that block occurred prior to it being legal, prior to it being allowed to happen. But in the end, you have to look. This official at the bottom has to look at touching. He's got to see if the kicking team's touching the ball right now. And if he can move to blocks, then he moves to blocks. But we can't, with only 2 officials up there, and if you're lucky to have 2 on there as your normal mechanic on the receiver's restraining line, then lucky you. But somebody has to see the blocks. Somebody has to see the ball. Mike, bring you in on this one. I know some states are now, because of this, having putting that second person on, but many don't. Many we cover it this way. We have to know the blocks as well as touching, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, fortunately, as you pointed out much earlier, there's really only one matchup to watch. So since there's so much air between all of the other opponents. So I would hope that both officials on the kicker's line and on the receiver's line are going to both take a look at this contact, just because sometimes the view from one sideline may not be as good as the view from the other.
No, and that's a great point. This one opens up to that official on the 50. The back judge might be a little bit screened on that. All right, so our final results, 80% have legal play. We've got something else, but for the most part, we're pretty good here, 80%. We're going to move this on to our next one, so play 3. So now on to play number 3, and the poll is up and active for this one. This is what I'm going to ask. What is your ruling? Roughing the kicker, running into the kicker, legal play with no foul, or something else? That's what we're looking at on this play, and here it is now. You're going to see it. It's going to happen at the bottom of the screen. You will get a replay of this. You will get, and like I said, I don't care what the official on the field's calling. We don't give a crap about that. I want to know what you're going to call. Tell us in the poll what you have on this one. Do you have this as roughing? Maybe you have it as running into. Maybe you have it a legal play with no foul. Maybe you see something else there. All right. Here you go one more time. And while people are doing this is a one where Mr. Lemonier got to rule on a lot in his career. So, Bill, on a play like this, you see there's some, it's not as clear as it could be. What do you think? What's your ruling on it?
Well, seeing the whole thing from this angle, which is a better angle than the referee has, I don't have a foul. He's been blocked into the kicker by an offensive player, and that should exonerate him because he doesn't have an opportunity now to change his path. The critical thing here is, depending on, again, number of officials, the mechanics you're using, is that a side where the official's underneath the goalpost, and so you're not getting any help on the block. But if you had an official down at that yard line on the line of scrimmage, I'd want them to be coming into me saying, hey, that offensive player, 15, he contacted the defender, and that caused that hit into your kicker. So I could pick that flag up. But if all I've seen is the hit on the kicker, I'm going to maybe have doubt because normally they're not going to run into the kicker backwards, Right. That might be an indicator that he's been turned around.
Well, and I don't disagree with that. Looking at our, we'll go check out our results right now. All right, so we're about 77% that said legal play, no foul, which is good. All right, I'm going to ask you one other question on this one, Bill, before we move on, and I'll see if there's any chat or any text that we need to address. You were talking about getting the help, and if there's an official there to give you help, how much is enough contact? Because there's probably some people that might say, well, he just barely got him, and he may have had a chance to peel off. Looking at a play like this, it's not a lot of contact, but it's just enough that looks like it puts him off balance, which causes the hit. What do you want to see?
I want to see basically, we have the thing about running into the kicker that you displace the kicker. Basically, if you displace the defender, have you changed his path? Where he can't control now where he's at. If he's lost control, then he should be exonerated.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So, all right, I'm gonna bring it over to. Let's go. I'll bring in Robert real quick. Robert, any text or anything like that? Anybody? Any comments? And we'll move on.
Just as the poll probably suggests, but we can move on. The majority are aligning with now seeing that the player was blocked. But I got to give a shout out to Howie Hughes in the Brook. He says the wings can help and should help. So he chimed in on that early, and he's certainly right. This is a crew decision where we want to get the call right.
Yep, absolutely. So go to our final results here. It looks like we're at like 79% on this. All right, so that's good. And Mike, if you ever got anything, just raise your hand. Let me know. We're a little bit behind now because of our technical issues, so we're going to kind of jump through. All right, we're going to move to our next one. This is our fourth play. So I want to know on this one, what is your ruling? Do you have ineligibles downfield? Do you have OPI? Do you have legal play? Do you have no foul, legal play, no foul, or something else? All right, so that's your question. Now, here's the play. Here's the play for you. It's going to happen up there at the top of the screen. You're going to see it. You're going to get a close-up of it, slow motion. All right, there it is. It's a little grainy just based off the film, but you can see enough. Here it is again in real time. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a hint here. The 10-yard line is the line of scrimmage. You have a big white line to help you on this one. So pick this one on purpose because of that. You've got a big white line to help you out. So I want to know if you've got an eligibles downfield, you got OPI, you have maybe a legal play, or maybe you see something else out there that maybe we're missing. So let us know what you got. I'm going to start out with Mike on this one. Mike, who's worked the line of scrimmage, works referee. Mike, this is a tough play, but just from what you can see, how would you rule on it?
I'd rule offensive pass interference because you have your screen blockers already downfield engaged, and that pass crossed the line of scrimmage.
All right, so Mike has got this as OPI. Showing it one more time here as we run through this. All right, here it is. Here's your slow motion again. I'm going to stop it right there. All right, let's see what our poll results are. So we've got about 85% that are saying ineligible downfield, 13% that say no foul, 3% that say OPI, and nobody has something else. So here's my take on it. It is a little grainy. So let me see if I can't go back to the actual live shot here, from the wide shot, and you can see boom, right there. Here, this is my thought, okay? I'm not splitting hairs on this one. And from this film, I cannot tell if that ball is over the line or has gone beyond the neutral zone or not. And here's the other thing. That receiver went this way with his back. He actually caught the ball with his arms extended, which could be over the line. Remember, when that play happens, it's not like the quarterback, where if the quarterback has a foot over, then you're going to say he's beyond. But when that one, you need to know where the ball is. Where did he touch the ball? Where did the receiver touch the ball? If he touched it right at it, I don't know if you want to split a hair on this one. And especially looking at it on this film, I would say pass on this one. Make it clear. Make it clearly over the line of scrimmage before you're going either OPI or ineligibles. Now, to Mike's point, even though we got a lot of people that say ineligibles, if we have that blocking downfield and you do have that pass across the line, you kind of have to think OPI, I think, on that one. Now, Bill, we talk about this a lot in regards to, making it be there. Making a foul like this be big. Were you with Mike? Did you think it was enough, or what's your thought?
I had kind of the same thought you did, is that with him reaching back, that big line, it should be a big help. In one breath, it's going to be one that people are going to say, look, it's a big line. You couldn't see that ball over the line. But at the same time, it's a line that as he reaches back. We do not have what we used to say indisputable video evidence to say that pass has crossed the line. So I'm in favor of passing on this one. But if it were over the line, somebody's got to help out with maybe the back judge or somebody with the blocks downfield. Because the OPI is a bigger consequence than ineligible.
Well, and with RPO, the reason I showed this one, you're going to get a lot of RPO you have all year. So you have to be on your game when you're doing this one, because it's going to happen, and you're going to have those tight ones you're going to have to judge on. So Robert, Bill mentioned the back judge. Bill mentioned, from your position, you can talk about that, but also if there's any chats or texts or anything like that.
Yeah, you know what, Tim? What a great play to show. Based on the polling, based on the chats, the majority, and I mean over 80%, have a foul on this play. And based on the panel, and based on what I'm hearing from you specifically as well, is why split hairs? I always like to use the words such as quality fouls, love your flag, make it be there. This one is tight, Tim. So, you may have officials throw on this, and what video evidence from Huddle is going to suggest otherwise? Is that the kind of game you're calling? That tight? Do you really have, as Bill will say from other prior meetings, do you have the best eyes in the game? Is that the type of officiating we want? And I'll let you answer that.
Well, no, we don't. And on a play like this, especially from the film, I appreciate everybody giving the opinion. That's why we do this. That's why we make it anonymous. And I'm not saying 80% of the people are wrong. But I can't tell on the film. I can't tell 100%. And if I can't tell 100% on the field, if I can't tell 100% on the film, I'm not going to have the best eyes in the game. Like Robert just said, or Bill. I'm not. I want to see it be big. I want it to jump out. I don't want a call like this to be questioned later in regards to, well, is that too technical? Now, you could say it could go either way. If you're on the line, you know the call, you make the call. If you know that guy is over, clear as day, even on a play like this, you know the call, you make the call, fine. But I don't think on this video we knew the call to make the call, at least from what we saw. Okay, Robert, go.
Yeah, this is such a very important topic, and I do want to take a moment to talk about it, because I spoke to a head coach in a program that sadly lost the contest on what he deemed to be an incorrect call, which was a very tight call near the end of the game, under a minute and a half, which sadly the officials didn't know with 100% certainty whether or not it was right or wrong, which we don't. We don't have replay, right? When we as officials have to make judgment calls that unfortunately may turn the outcome of a game in high school, we sleep better at night knowing that we gave our due diligence, conversing with the crewmate, and then coming out with confidence that we're making the right decision. Let's say, for example, Tim, this official does throw on this, and he did, obviously.
I don't remember. I actually didn't know.
Okay, whatever. But it's so tight as a crew in these critical situations. There's nothing wrong to come in, if you have information, to discuss it and then come out with a unified decision. And that's the only point I'm making, because we are our only replay crew on the field. And unfortunately, there are going to be tight situations when we're critically under 5 minutes of a contest, where it's going to be hard for a team to recover based on these type of important calls that we make in that critical time at the end.
No, I don't. It's good. If you got to get together on a play like this. All right, so we're still at about 78% ineligibles downfield. All right, that's what we got. We'll move on to the next one here. All right, so our next play number 5. Here is the poll question. Illegal contact against a defenseless receiver, targeting only, legal play, no foul, or something else. So this is what we're asking on this one, and here's the play. You're going to see it's going to happen across the middle. Quarterback drops back. Here it comes, across the middle, and we got contact there. All right. So remember our litmus test for if we have an illegal contact against a defenseless player. You're going to get a bunch of replays on this one, which we don't on the field, but it's nice to talk about. All right. Did we have a legitimate tackle attempt, a play on the ball, or contact with open hands? Here it is again, all of it from the beginning. I want illegal contact against a defenseless receiver. Maybe you've got targeting. You got targeting only. Maybe you've got a legal play, no foul, or maybe you see something else here. All right. So remember what we have. Here it is again. All right. You're going to see from the end zone shot here. We've got a play. All right. And we got a bunch of people who are going in on this one. So I'll give it just another second. Robert, I'm going to start you out with this one before I check the poll. What was your thought on it, Robert?
You know, we got ways to make this legal, right? An attempted wrap, which I saw one defender attempt to do. He didn't do a full wrap, but he did an attempted wrap. Why didn't he do a full wrap? Because he sees two of his teammates coming in conversion at the same time. I see another defender coming in what appears to be an attempt with hands, and I see another defender coming in with, again, violent act with attempted hands. It's unfortunate this quarterback threw in triple coverage and the receiver was vulnerable, but my goodness, isn't that something? This player is able to walk up out of this play situation without injury, and the defenders, yes, did make contact with the defenseless receiver, but it appears as though in the majority, and I'm only one official as a back judge seeing a conversion of players coming out with the decision. Nothing jumped out at me that anything was egregious. Incomplete.
Incomplete. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what so we got about 60-30 on this one. So this isn't a slam dunk by any means. And I'm curious in the chat and in the text, maybe what some people saw. So a lot of times when I go through film, plays jump out at me as looking at certain things of those plays. This one I put in on purpose. This is not an easy play to determine. But going back to the beginning here, all right? And Robert's right. Why? It's actually quadruple coverage. There's 4 people there. He's throwing it right to the middle. I mean, he does have him for a second. He could catch this ball, he gets in there. Now, let's look at all aspects of the contact. All right, player 1, that first player, it looks like there is a potential wrap, possibly. Player 2, I want to get to that guy in a second. There's a better view. The third player, number 19, he looks like he's not really forcible. Those are the only 3 involved. All right? So now you're going to get the other shot of it. We're looking at the player from behind first. Do we see a wrap? Yeah, 52. He's the suspect one right now. He's the suspect one. 19s didn't do anything. He just pushed. Here is the final view. All right? Does 52. So we're going to say the number 9 there, or 6, I'm sorry. He's fine. Does 52, does he make an attempt at the ball? Does he use a wrapping technique? Or does he go with open hands? That's a tough one. I think that's our 36%, to be honest with you, or where we're at right now, that's our 34%, because that's what caught my eye. Now, here's the thing. I don't care. If you want to go with this as illegal contact, or if you don't, somebody has to see that second guy. And to Robert's point, as a back judge, he's looking over the top. Our wings might have to pick this one up. Somebody has to see that second guy, number 52, and decide if that contact is legal or not. I don't care. I mean, it looks like you'd be okay with a foul on this one, personally. But if you say it, he pushed at the end with open hands and it wasn't, or open arm technique, okay. But somebody has to see him. All right, Mike, I see you raising your hand. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I just see a lot of folks are asking about, well, one guy wrapped, right? So we can tell the coach, it was an attempt to wrap. But the other player doesn't. So you might have an official coming in saying, well, what's that flag? Pick that up. There was a wrap. That was a wrap. That wasn't, because he didn't even see 52. So you're gonna have lots of people looking, and anytime there's a receiver coming down with a football and players converging, you should have at least in a 5-man crew 3 sets of eyes looking at that contact.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping, and it's a safety foul. So if you called it because of the safety foul and you saw number 52, good for you. I don't think the other two did. I think 52 was definitely suspect, and if you went with number 52 on the foul, fine. But you can't get tunnel vision on plays like this. We showed one last week where I missed an interception as a back judge because I thought the guy was going to take out the receiver and make illegal contact. And then my wings had to tell me later we had an interception because we can't give up on that. All right, Robert, I'm going to throw it back to you real quick. Any text, chats, or anything like that? Anybody wants to comment?
I think we can move on, Tim. I think they're thirsty for more. It's great discussion on these plays.
It's a great play. That's a tough play, and that's a play that you might get. There's our final 64-36. So I showed that play. I don't give you slam dunks all the time because I want you to think. I want you to be better. If this play happens in your game, I want you to be ready for it. All right, so play number 6. Well, I did move the poll ahead to play 7, but play number 6 does not have a poll. We're just going to talk about this play because it's a mechanic play that I really want to discuss because it's really interesting, to say the least. All right, what you're going to see, you see where the line of scrimmage is. We're going to call it, I think it's the 8, but it's like 7-ish. So we're going to call it the 7-ish because I know some crews or some states go 7-person in the playoffs, but most of us are going with 5. So if you only have 5, then the back judge is not going to have the goal line on this. But you're going to see the play. It's going to happen up there at the top. Now, look at our official at the top of the screen. This sucks because it's 3rd down and not 4th down. But if this was 4th down, it'd be even worse. You got a line to gain at the 2, and you have a goal line. So you have to be aware of both of those lines with number 9 and the massive humanity coming at you. Now, unfortunately, our official doesn't move to either of them. And if you look at the chains, if I was working that, I want those chains on that dotted line because I want to move back to the back of the white, where he is already, to move to wherever I need to move to make this decision. But as you can see what's going to happen, we don't have anybody at the line of gain. We don't have anybody at the goal line. And this could be really tough. This could be, this is a tight game, 4th quarter, and you've got a dive. Now, we do have a foul for targeting here. I don't care about that. This is not about whether it's targeting or not. This is about mechanics. As officials, we need to know we have a line to gain and we have a goal line. And we have to decide which one we're going to go to based off the action. Yeah, this doesn't put us in the best position because our knees might get hurt. But in this position, we can't tell anything. It looks like he might have got the line to gain, but I don't know. And especially if that was the goal line, that would be tough. Once again, I don't want to be critical of this official. There's a lot going on that they have to do. But these are important. This will matter in a conference championship, in a game where both teams are both teams are defeated this week. They're all looking for their first win, so this is important stuff. Mike, bring you in, working line of scrimmage. This tough play. Oops, I meant to bring Mike in. This is a tough play, Mike, but we've got to recognize we've got those lines, correct?
Yeah, and on this play, I'd probably move to the goal line and then come back to the line to gain. And, you got to get that lead stake back. But I see this other person that's standing there with a name ID tag or something who's in the perfect officiating position. And another thing you got to do is warn people that might be in your way that you're going to that goal marker, that G over there, and that's where that gentleman is standing. Look at him; he's basically an official. So,
well, maybe we could add. Maybe he would have the call. Who knows? But yeah, you have to recognize there's 2 lines here. You have to recognize that we have to be better. We have to be great in this type of situation to be able to identify it. Whether we go to the goal line first and then work back to the line to gain, that's fine. But you have to see both lines. And Bill, I'll bring Bill in real quick. So Bill, I think sometimes we forget this, we lose that concentration down there. What are ways that you would tell your crew to not lose concentration down there?
Well, obviously you got the communication we do between plays can be helpful. Don't just go through the motions. You've got to be the first person to recognize if your concentration level's down. But it started, It started because he didn't have the chains in a good place to start with. He wasn't moving to be in a good place. Now, once it got to here, there's no way he's going to get to either the line to gain or the goal line without endangering himself. But it's a thing you've got to recognize it yourself. Don't just go through the motions. Don't be complacent.
No, I think that's a great message. Don't be complacent on a play like this because it could bite you. All right, Robert, comments, questions, moving on.
Yeah, a couple comments, and it's related to your comment about having the chains back to the dotted lines and the importance of having space to work so you can be deep. Very vital. A lot of commentary on that, and to that point, I think it's a best practice that we're taking away from this meeting, and that is how many of us officials actually talk to the chain crews, an extension of our crew, in that manner when we're tight down near the goal line, inside the 20, or more specifically inside the 10. That we're going to want you further back for our safety, our mobility, our angle to be able to adjudicate the play. And that goes to, by having the chain crew there, keeping all the photographers and all the states people, with special badges and sideline credentials to be back as well. That gets really congested, especially in the playoffs. So don't take it lightly. I know game management's there for a reason, and us officials need to enforce and expect game management to monitor that zone so that we are not reminding them consistently throughout a contest of our own safety and our ability to work.
No, I mean, that's true. And so hopefully we've got that down and we can get everything cleaned up and we get in a position to rule on the goal line. Like I said, not knocking this guy. Like Bill said, at some point you just got to protect yourself, make the best call you can. But let's try to get there so that way we're in position when we have a play like this. All right, so our next one, we're going back to the poll. So, we got another roughing the kicker one potentially. What is your ruling on this one? Roughing the kicker, running into the kicker, legal play with no foul, or something else? Play number 7, here it is now. All right, here you go. You're going to see that they're in a shotgun, and then they move to something, and now we have a bad snap and a kick and contact. All right. We're going to see where the ball ends up. We'll talk maybe about that later. But let's look at the contact on the kicker. All right. Ball, ground. All right. Here it is. Moving around and replay slow motion. And then he's a kicker. He kicked the ball. Okay. All right, so we're wondering, you got roughing the kicker, maybe you have running into the kicker, maybe you have this as a legal play with no foul, or maybe you see something else that we don't see. So as everybody is having a chance to do that they're getting, we can see that their people are starting to vote. Excellent. I'm going to bring Bill in on this one right away. And, excuse me, Bill, you're the referee. What do you got?
The thing that'll make the difference here is, was there any doubt created because of that snap of a potential kick? And right immediately, I'd say the answer is yes. Yeah. Now he's fielded it. Is he really established himself to put himself in a position of kicking prior to the defender being in a position where he's committed? This is a tough one here. I'm going to pass on this one too. He needed to take and have a better snap. There's doubt in my mind he could get the kickoff. He could have just as easily continued to run to the outside.
All right, so Bill, you're going with this one as you're good on this one.
Yeah,
no foul. All right, let's see what we got here. We'll show our results. So we got about 60, 25, 13, 1% something else. So if you are that 1%, please be sure to text us because I would love to know what's the something else that you may have. All right, let me walk through this one here real quick. Let me go back to it. Let's make sure we got the right one here. All right, hang on. Let me find it. It jumped around on me. Give me 1 second. All right, hang on one, folks. Just stick with me. I lost the play. Oh, I lost the play. All right, well, The one thing I will say on the play, though, is that if there's any doubt, okay, if there's any doubt on a play like this, then, I got it again. I found it. Here it is. All right. On a play like this, okay, let's look at it again. Not in scrimmage kick formation, for one. We are not in scrimmage kick formation. So that means that the center is not protected. Now, when he backs up, is he 10 yards? No, he's not 10 yards. Not in scrimmage kick formation. So that also creates doubt as to whether or not there's going to be a kick. So that's 2 things. Now, bad snap. 3 things. There's doubt. I'm the referee. I have doubt whether or not the ball is going to be kicked. Now, he may start to run with the ball. At the last second, he kicks it right as contact happens. And the contact that happens is not illegal. It's not illegal because it's not unnecessary. It's not hands to the face. It's not illegal helmet contact. It's a normal football play. So it's not unnecessary. So the rule says if contact is unavoidable and there was doubt that the kick was going to be made, I think all of that qualifies on this one. There is doubt. And it weren't in scrimmage kick formation, and it was a bad snap. So I'm passing on this one. And I'll let Mike, I saw Mike kind of nod his head real quick, and then I'll bring Robert real. Mike, right? Doubt.
Agreed. Yeah, there's doubt here. I give the defense the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely. There's doubt on this one. And Robert Ybarra, I'm sure everybody's agreeing. I mean, we're still kind of not 100%, but maybe there's something else. What do we got, Robert?
We got some great viewers, Tim. I have to applaud some commentary on the text and on MIBT.org who are spot on. They spoke about the uncertainty of it actually being a kick because they were not scrimmage kick formation. The snap, it was just a situation in which they didn't feel the contact was such that warranted a foul. But everything that you alluded to, many have commented to that prior to you saying it, so they're locked in on that play.
Well, and then there is one thing to be aware of, and we're going to move on. I'm going to play it from the beginning here real quick. So, all right, we're not in scrimmage kick formation. Fine. We're still not in scrimmage kick formation. Don't forget we have got coverage. So when this ball is kicked horribly, that ball is kicked straight up. Remember, we have line of scrimmage responsibility because if that ball, now it's clearly over, it's about 5 yards over, but it was rolling back. We need to make sure we know if that ball goes behind again, that there are things that can happen that we don't want to necessarily blow our whistle because either team can advance it when it's behind. So don't forget that one. And on a play like this, when you have a short kick. All right. So we're going to advance the pull forward to play number 8. All right. So here's our next play. What is your ruling on this play? Incomplete pass, illegal deception. That's a new one. Legal play, no foul, or something else. And you're probably going to be asking, what does that mean? You're going to see. All right, here's the play. You can see the guy goes in motion, the ball is bounced, and then it's thrown downfield. Ends up being an incomplete pass, but you're going to see it again here in slow motion. All right, the ball looks like deliberately thrown into the ground, and then picks up, and then we've got the number 3 who's getting ready to pass the ball. So I'll play it one more time. I'm asking, do you have an incomplete pass on this? Maybe you have like an illegal perception, like unfair act or something. Maybe illegal play, no foul. Maybe you got something else. Maybe you got something else that I don't see on this one, and I would like to know. I'm going to ask Mike first on this one once we get through this replay. Mike, what do you got, Mike? What do you think?
Well, I mean, number 3 throws a legal forward pass. And there's a lot of receivers blocking downfield as if this is a play that's supposed to be behind the line of scrimmage. So I've got problems. So you've got problems because this play, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I don't see, it's weird because I'm looking at the blocking downfield and I'm looking for that. I just see, but you're okay with the bounce pass, right? The backward bounce pass, right? Yeah, backward passes can hit the ground. You can intentionally bounce them. That's totally fine. It's not smart, but you can do it.
So the question is, these two inner receivers, is he blocking or just standing? He looks like he starts to run outside. Looks like the defender might be making contact. Now, the one in the middle there, who's making contact with who? He might just been standing there. That's tough. I can see why Mike would be looking at that, because that's definitely something that we want to be aware of. I'm going to show the results of the play here. So we got 53% that said legal play, no foul, incomplete, something else. The something else, maybe they're going with Mike, or some blocking. So make sure you let Robert know. But in the end, there is no illegal. I mean, this is a very, I guess, high risk, high reward play, because if you don't get that bounce right, you got problems. Now, Bill, would you consider this like borderline illegal deception or anything like? I mean, or like unfair act, or is it just good luck?
No, it's that play's been used a lot in over the years in football. So throwing that bounce pass backwards is no problem. The question comes up, like you said, and I support what Mike said. The offensive players downfield in those two engagements, they can't do anything to initiate any contact. The defender might be right there. Their job's to avoid initiating contact, and neither one of them do that. They're glad they got their hands up almost to say, come on, let's just dance right here. So I put the burden on the offense that they did not, because of that contact, complete the play properly.
Well, here's the other thing, and I'll let Robert come in. So there are a couple things on this one. There's a comment about the formation. 1, 2,
Yes.
3, 4, possibly 5. What is that official at the top ruling? Is he got the guy on or off at the top? That is a potential issue for sure. Okay? That's one potential issue. Now, the other issue, once again, has been pointed out, is this contact downfield, because it looks like he was supposed to throw it earlier. Is that OPI? Is it something that needs to be called? Here's the thing I will say. Yeah, Bill's right that this is a play that's been run in the past. It is legal to bounce pass a backward pass to another player. Let's just get that out of the way. This is not an incomplete pass. This is a legal play. Where the issue comes now, it's a trick play. So, remember, trick plays need to be run pretty perfect. And there's some issues with this play that would make it not perfect, meaning formation, meaning potential blocking downfield. So just keep that in mind if you're going to go legal or illegal on this one. Those are things you want to think about. Robert, talk to me. I know we got a lot going on out there.
Spot on. The viewers are on the same page on the something else with the formation, more than 4 players in the backfield, and suspect OPI as well. So with that being said, they got a flag. They don't think it's a perfect trick play, to your words.
Perfect trick play. And it's not. And just to go back to the play, remember that the action of the backward pass being bounced is not. Now, the other thing to remember from a penalty enforcement standpoint, if you got the illegal formation simultaneous with the snap, you go to the previous spot. If you've got the OPI, this is still a loose ball play. Okay? Still a loose ball play. So this ends up being a previous spot enforcement, just so you know. I don't want anyone to get messed up on that one. Loose ball play, previous spot. If you went with the illegal formation, then you've got the potential simultaneous. Yes, Mike. Mike, you're muted, Mike.
Pointed out on the MIBT site, Eric pointed out that there's a sideline warning here because we have a coach talking to an official and getting his attention as the ball's being snapped, and continues to talk to him while the play's running, and he's clearly in the white right next to the official.
Yeah, I mean, if you could go with that too. I see him at the bottom.
That side.
Yep, you see it at the bottom, which is interesting. You wonder what's kind of going on. But, yeah, that's something else that can be looked at. All right, so final results, 44, 36, 19. All right, perfect. Moving on. All right, so we're going to go to our play number 9. Here's play number 9. You're going to join it in the middle of the play, but this is what we're asking. What is your ruling? Incomplete pass, forward fumble, legal play with no foul, or something else on our play number 9. All right, here it is. You're going to see a whoop-de-doo, a backward pass, another one, and now we got that. All right, so it's this one. We're asking on this one. I got a little pitch there. You got another pitch there. Those all look good. Now we're asking on this one right here. Coming up. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? All right, one more time. Here it is. Backward, backward. Yeah. Caught him anyways. What do you got there? All right. That's an interesting one. Replay again. Here it is. We'll see what everybody has. We'll take a look. I'm going to start out with Mike on this one. So, Mike, there it is. Boom. Mike, what do you got on this one?
Oh, my gosh.
Pat Mahomes, eat your heart out. This is an incomplete pass.
Is it?
Roethlisberger, that shovel. Yeah.
It's an incomplete pass. All right, well, let's see what our results are. I'm just curious with about 53. Well, we got 78% that said incomplete pass. Forward fumble, something else. If you got something else, let Robert know, because maybe there's some other stuff going on. Maybe somebody's seeing illegal formations or something like that. But let's walk through this play, because here is, I think, sometimes where we lose concentration. This type of play happens a lot. Happened in a game I had this week where they underhand tossed it forward. Now, you may say it's a fumble because you think that the player was not passing the ball, that the ball going forward was a result of the contact. Maybe that's why you're going with a fumble on this one, a forward fumble. But it sure looks like this is intentional. You can see the player, he's looking at him, and he tosses it. I would hope that we would go incomplete pass on this one and be on a play like this, be ready to rule on it, because they will surprise you, because you saw a bunch of whoop-de-doo, and now you've got this pitch and it's borderline forward, or maybe it's sideways, but it looks forward, that we're coming out hard, incomplete, because this definitely appears to be that way. All right, Robert, let me throw it over there. What do we got? Chat, whatnot.
I guess just as you're saying here, it looks like he's intentionally looking at his teammate. He's intentionally trying to get the ball to his teammate. The execution of that attempt happened to be a forward pitch, which is by rule deemed as an incomplete forward pass.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've said this story before, but even sometimes a back judge might see that because it might open up to them, and they can be a crew saver and get it and come in if they clearly see that guy pitched the ball forward. So just understand, this is one of those where we got to get, because this is definitely a forward pass. Any other thing, Robert?
I think we're good to move on.
All right, awesome. We're going to move on. Let me show the final results. 85% said incomplete pass. We didn't hear what the something else was, but that is okay. All right, we're going to advance the poll forward to play number 10. This play, I want everybody to lock in on this play, because this play happens a lot. And how you rule on it may make for an easy game or a hard game. And it's pre-snap. And you're like, Tim, pre-snap stuff? Trust me, you're going to want to think about this one. Here it is. What is your ruling? False start, encroachment, legal play with no foul, or something else? Let's show to play. You're going to get a replay of it. So we've got action. All right. Well, looks like maybe the defense. Oh, okay. So we've got two aspects of this to rule on. Does we got action there that simulates a snap, or do we just have the defense encroaching? Okay. There it is again. Here we go. One more time. And I'm going to ask Bill what he thinks. All right. Here it is again. All right, Bill. You see this? You got encroachment or false start?
Well, as a referee, I wouldn't call it encroachment.
Well, of course not.
Line of scrimmage. But I don't see movement by the offense, unless I'm just need to put my glasses on. But I this should be on the defense from what I see.
Okay, so this should be on you're going with the defense. Now, before I get back, when I show you something, you might be like, oh, I didn't see that, because this is a toughie. I see Mike holding up his hand, so I'm going to ask Mike, because I know Mike's got an opinion on this. Mike, do you have this false start, or do you have this as encroachment?
Yeah, I'm watching that quarterback, and I'm seeing him simulating the start of the play, so I have a false start.
Yeah, it's very close. Let's see what we have on our results here. So we got about 71 or 70-27 legal play. So other people, I guess, have great eyes, and they thought that nothing happened there. We should just let this one go, which is fine, but I don't know how you can tell. All right, here's the thing. This is a judgment call. It's probably not as much of a judgment call for the defense as it is for the offense. Look at number 7. Watch the quarterback. What does he do with his hands? What does he do with his upper body? And then they get a close-up on it. Boom. Is that simulating action at the snap? What is the purpose of that movement? Is it a clap? Is it just a simple clap to get the ball? Is it a fake clap, just a fake clap? Or is it a jolt that can cause the defense to potentially encroach? Does it simulate the start of the snap? I'm going to ask Robert on this one because I just want to get Robert's opinion. Robert, does it simulate action?
Great question, and it is a simulation with movement. Now, we're talking a big arena. This is inside, where the Vikings play, which, the sound, I can understand the vocal energy that's required for the cadence, but he's doing, like you said, movement with his hands in a manner which one may argue in judgment that is simulating the start of the snap. You read your terms and conditions in the playoffs, and all decisions made by the officials are final. Whatever you decide, I'm with you.
Okay, well, let me go back here and then I'll come back to you. You can tell me what some comments are. But look at it. It's the first quarter, 6:40 to go. It's 2nd and 4. It's down there near the goal line. They're probably looking for a first down. But if you were to call this a false start right now, you call this a false start in the first quarter, you're probably going to have you may have a better game because this is one of those where they may see how far they can push it. And remember, the offense can't do anything to simulate action at the snap. Before I go back to Robert, now that Bill saw what we're talking about, Bill, quarterback, you okay? Was it enough?
Well, you're going to get this thing too of, you called that on my quarterback in the first quarter. He's been doing that all season, and he hasn't been called for it once.
Why
don't
is it care.
Today?
I don't care. Now
I have it on the edge, but
You're still okay. All right, well, let's see what we got. So we've got 54-45. So they're kind of like 50-50 on this one. This is a tough play. But in the end, if you're going to do it, get it early. Just get this out of the game if you got a problem. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Is that maybe one of the differences philosophy-wise between high school and college on this is, in college, those guys could step across and get back and not have to foul at all, okay? In high school, if you can draw that guy into the zone, okay, you've got 5-yard free yards. It's a dead ball penalty.
Right.
So possibly I could say high school-wise, I could understand calling that a false start on a quarterback because all you have to do is draw them in.
Yeah, I mean, if this was a different rule set, I can you can get back, but no, they can't get back, and it looked intentional. All right, Robert Ybarra, what we got, Robert?
We got some great commentary, and this is by more than one viewer. So applaud the viewers on this insightful commentary, and that is, what has that quarterback done up to this point? That wasn't the first play, so has he had a precedent that you can weigh in on your judgment on this play? I think that's excellent. Because I didn't pay close attention on the down and distance in this situation, but that would be a mindful factor as far as what's the intent, and there is a rule intent in the Federation rule book that I can leverage, but at the same time, what has that quarterback done prior in the game, and then measure with that balance the action that we just witnessed.
Well, and we'll move on to our next one here, but to sum this up, referee, have an opinion. Have an opinion on this. Don't just default to your wings. Don't default to your line of scrimmage officials. Have an opinion. And if you thought it was borderline, you're going to let it go, I'm probably talking to that quarterback and saying, you're getting real close. You don't want to go further. You just drew a line. At some point, this will come back to hurt you if they keep pressing that line to see how far they can go. So try to address it one way or the other. Robert, did you want to say something else?
Yeah, because this is a bona fide question. You do see a wing throw for encroachment. The R is on the page of the quarterback. No, I didn't like the movement of the quarterback. Can the referee override the wing? That's a crew decision, guys. When we come together, we're going to make a decision. Certainly, the referee should listen to the information shared by crewmates, but ultimately, the white hat's making the announcement. So,
well, and I get that, but a lot of times the line of scrimmage officials might not see the quarterback. They just see the defense jump. And that's why preliminary signals are good. But if you've got 2 flags on a play, and I don't care if it's across or to the left or the umpire, you have 2 flags on the play, do not give a preliminary signal. Do not. You're the only flag? Okay. 2 flags, you got to find out what's going on. Get on the radio real quick. If it's just the 2 line of scrimmage officials and it's obvious, let's say the quarterback didn't do what they were going to do, and they jump, defense encroachment, encroachment. Get on the radio. And if you don't have a radio, then you need to get in and talk, because it would suck if you've got one person doing this and the other person doing that. Okay? So to Robert's point, talk. And hopefully the referee be like, I had the quarterback simulate action at the snap before I saw movement on the defense. I don't know if they crossed or not, but I know the quarterback simulated action before they moved. That's how I would address it. So, all right, let's move on to our next play. We're in the home stretch here. It's our last play. We're going to take a look at the poll. I want to know, what is your ruling? Do you have a flag for holding? Do you have a flag for unnecessary roughness? Do you have a legal play? Or do you have something else? So here we go. It's going to happen down at the bottom of the left there on the left tackle. You're going to get a replay of this. And I don't care what happens downfield. All right, it ends up being a really good catch. So this is why you might have an issue if you've got something here. So we're looking at that left tackle there. I want to know if you've got a UNR, maybe you have a flag. And I say flag. Do you have a flag for holding? There's a difference. Do you have a flag for holding? Do you have a flag for unnecessary roughness? Do you have this as a legal play, or maybe you see something else? And like I said, we have a reception down the field. I don't care. You do see a flag come in, but I do not care. I want to know what you are going to call out there in TV land. All right, one more shot at this. I'll let Mike take a stab at this one and see what Mike's thinking. Mike, what are you thinking on this?
Well, I'd like a talk to on the you kind of jumping on top of him when he's down, but the quarterback kind of sprints out to the right. The ball's out quickly. There's no material effect on the backside here, so I don't have a flag. So
flag. That's an important point, because I want to get back to that here in a second. Let's see what we got. We got about 57. We'll have more people do this. All right, so we've got 40, about 50, 45 flag for holding, 26. We do have some UNRs, and we do have something else. If you have something else, make sure you text or let Robert know, because I'm just curious. Maybe we're missing something. All right, Bill, bring you in now. Bill, you got this play. What's your thought, Bill?
Yeah, I think on the holding part of it too, it has no material effect. But that flag coming from the short wing, doing cleanup from behind, number one, kudos on cleanup, because this is a part of the game we can have shortcomings in. It's clean up behind because we're ball hawking. My guess, and again, it's a guess, is that right there, that club action behind the neck and then pouncing on top of him. My guess is, and I saw the umpire reach, but I don't think he threw. My guess is they got him for unnecessary roughness or personal foul, and I support that.
Yeah, actually, they did come. It doesn't matter. They came out holding on it, but in the end, I could see your point, Bill, and I'll walk you through what I see. I mean, I see everything that was just mentioned. This is backside. This does not have any material effect on this play, but we always talk about the takedown or something egregious. And when we do the zoom in on it, it's like, will this embarrass us? And unfortunately, the sideline of the defense is to the back of that official. So they're probably hearing, everybody can see it on that sideline. And if you this is where it gets weird. I think the first part of this, if he just pushes him down here and just get, and then that makes it draws so much attention to it that it makes it hard. It makes it very difficult to pass on it because the attention that was drawn to it, as much as it's backside and has no material effect on the play, it's just out there in the open and it's hard to pass on it. Personally, it would be game situation for me. I really would want to think about it. I don't know if at the end of the game, if that pass is going to determine whether the team's going to win the game or not. I don't know if I'm throwing on that. And is that right of me? Fine, I'll take that hit. If this is the first quarter, I'm absolutely throwing on it because I don't want this to get out of hand. So yeah, that's kind of a wash answer. But game situation, game management matters. And if you have that ability to be able to look at a play like that and go, it's borderline. I'm going to pass on the borderline because the game's on the line right now. Or you have the ability to say, this action is egregious and I'm going to call it. That's good as well. All right, Robert, tell me I know people, with being a 50-50, looking back at this, we're like 30-27 now. So I know there's a lot of comments on this one, Robert. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love how a lot of officials are using the text magic number, the text number, not the chat. They're calling it out. UNR, 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 and I'm not over exaggerating, Tim. A lot of these officials that are coming in are MIBT members, and they say that this type of action is unnecessary. Right? It is open. It is visible, and so they don't want it in their game. And that I love it. I think that's fantastic. There's some that get more specific where they're defining the right arm on the back side of the head of their opponent. Unnecessary, can cause injury, right? Whether it be forceful or not, it was a very vulnerable position. Regardless, the player was, in some definitions described in the text, defenseless, and they're right. The guy was owned, right? And now he's got an arm coming down on the back side of his neck. Unnecessary. UNR, bang it. Get rid of it. We don't need it. Keep the kids safe, because if you're going to err on safety. That's what they're saying in the chat.
No, I err on safety. I get it, and it's out in the open. Game situation, I don't know. I'm gonna consider that. And if I'm wrong, I guess I'm wrong. But I don't know if a play like this was going to determine the game, that I'm going to love the flag in that situation. I'm probably going to let it go. It would have to be a little bit more egregious for me to say, all right, that play where they got down and caught the ball at the 4-yard line or 5-yard line, and now the next play is going to, they're going to run up to try to run it. I don't know. That's just me. And that's kind of where we're at. So looking at it, 32, 31, 30, 7%, something else. This is, I ended on a strong one, meaning that I'm going to make you think when you go home tonight or turn off or do whatever you do on a Sunday night, getting ready for your week. You're gonna think about that one. All right. So before we go, I want to run around real quick. I'm going to start with Mike, and I'm just going to, this is it. This is our last football meeting of the year. We do this playoff prep, and it, like Bill said earlier, it comes and goes. We maybe do some stuff in between if something comes up that we need to address. But this is gonna be it. So, Mike, just tell the viewers what some last comments and anything you want to share.
Referees, playoff games, all eyes are on you. Go in the mirror during the week. Practice your signals. Deep wings, back judges. Only use approved NFHS mechanics. You kill the clock on that deep pass. You don't give a NFL catch signal. Get your beanbag mechanics straight. Do a comprehensive pregame. It's all the microscopes on you at that level. We always hear these stories, about giving extra downs to teams. So just be really calm and collected, but be prepared.
No, I think that's great advice. And New Mexico officials, text me your name right now too, just so I can tell Dennis. So text me your name. And let me know you were here for the whole meeting, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate Mike. Mike, I appreciate you taking the time. You've been on the road a lot, coming back, still doing these meetings. So thank you so much for all your time this year. Really appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. And, I look forward to the off-season meetings as well.
Yeah, those will start in January, most likely. Maybe, it's crazy. That'll be here before you know it too. But let's get through the playoffs first. And I wish you the best moving forward in your playoff year. Bill Amanye, same thing. Bill, let me you want to sum up stuff from the year, from whatever, from the meeting? Just what are some final words from you, Bill?
Well, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, you wait all year and then it goes by so fast. It also goes by fast as a career when you don't realize it. So I'm happy for all the officials out there that are getting playoff assignments, getting to extend their season a little bit. Take the time, enjoy the moment, the camaraderie with your crew. And remember what we said 150 times. The game belongs to the players. You're there to be the guardian of the game. So enjoy it, have fun, and hope that everything goes well.
Yeah, and Bill, thank you again. Once again, you were on the road a lot. Sometimes you would fly in the morning. In fact, you might have even done it today and come on the meetings with us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Emmy Award-winning Bill Amanye. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
I appreciate it. And finally, last but not least, the guy who's been manning the chats for most of the year, he's been looking at the text. Robert, what's final thoughts from people, from you? What do you got, Robert?
Yeah, first of all, those who are tuned in specifically like for tonight, thank you. You care. You are investing time in your game for the betterment of all stakeholders, and we applaud you for that. You're a part of our community, and we work to grow and learn together. I learned things tonight, and I hope that at minimum you were reminded of important matters tonight. Being professional, loving your flag, just like Bill had mentioned. People are coming to watch this game for the players. We are there being responsible for being guardians and enforcing the rules based on federation rule. Not everyone understands federation rule. A lot of people who watch NFL, collegiate, TikTok, you name it. And I feel the rule separation just keeps widening in that regard. But nonetheless, it's our responsibility to be familiar on the rules. And we know our own weaknesses. So I'm going to challenge you officials, along with myself, what areas of the rules that I can be reminded of more, that I need to get deeper and richer in with more, because that's on me, right? One thing I love about MIBT is it does keep me sharp. It does help me elevate my game in a manner in which I feel confident when I take the field. I do. And it feels great to be confident. But you want to know what? This game is humbling, and we still make mistakes. Make mistakes mechanically. We make mistakes by rule. We make mistakes by judgment, despite wanting to give our best effort, and we still stick it out. So thank you for being a part of our community. We truly do love you, and we wish that you join us or remain members, because together we will become stronger. So thank you, Tim.
Absolutely. MIBT, make it be there. Elite officials for the good of the game. So a couple things. Don't forget the Honings thing. You get 25% off if you want to join MIBT. I know it's the end of the year, but if you're basketball, baseball, softball, we're going to add volleyball next year. Trust me, for 50 or for 79, really $69 a year, worth your price. Trust me on that one. I want to thank everybody who watched. Thank you for sticking out for that middle little hiccup we had with the technical stuff. You guys are the best. You're the best of the best. You're elite. When you go out there this weekend or next weekend or whenever state championship games, you're going to be ready. You're going to be ready to go. Please email me if you have any questions, tim@mibtmedia.com. You can, just get a hold of me anyway. I will answer any questions. Send me your plays. We had a great year. We're going to be back to do this after the first of the year. Our off-season meetings will start. Please join us. For everybody here at MIBT, for my wife, who's our office manager. So that's somebody a lot of you guys deal with. Thank her. She's got dinner waiting for me, which is nice. Anyways, have a great evening. We will see you all when we see you. Have a great, great playoff, and we'll catch you next year or catch you when we catch you. So long, everybody.